We're going to turn to an area that I learned from the Time magazine that it just arrived at my home as a problem nationwide, and that is invasive species. But here on Hawaii Island, when we hear about state agencies springing into action to attack a handful of koki frogs on Oahu or little fire ants discovered in Mililani, it's obvious that the state administration and legislature certainly didn't take those problems seriously when they first popped up here on Hawaii Island. So we have two questions that we'd like you to address in 90 seconds. This island, although the state may have given up the fight, this island has not given up the fight against little fire ants and against koki frogs. And we'd like to understand if you will support continued funding from the state to help address that. And then what happens when the next invasive species arrives on any neighbor island? And the man sitting there may be the one with the answer, but when the next invasive species arrives someplace other than Oahu, what are you going to instruct your Department of Agriculture to do? And this would go to Senator Ige first, I believe.
Sure, thank you very much. You know, we need to have a comprehensive biocontrol program that deals with all the port of entries all the way through every aspect in our community so that we can be prepared once to stop invasive species at the port, all the way through to how do you deal with them when they're discovered. This past session, we appropriated $5 million, the largest state appropriation to the Invasive Species Committee, because we believe that it's something that we needed to take immediate action. We also funded the biocontrol program in the Department of Agriculture because we believe that the points of entry are very important and that we need to do a better job of identifying and intercepting shipments into the state and stop them at that point. I think that the Department of Agriculture needs to be aggressive when reports of invasive species occur, and we need to continue to fund and expand funding actually for taking and being able to coordinate a response. And it really does have to be a comprehensive and complete response. Not only is it state agencies and departments that have to respond, it is really working with the farming community, the nurseries, and the rest of the ag pipeline to ensure that we take action on invasive species as soon as possible.
Governor Abercrombie, invasive species,
yes.
And don't forget we're talking about our island on this one.
No, I'm not. I'm certainly not going to forget it. And I'm sorry, Sherry. I disagree entirely that the indication that this is not an urgent issue for the state or anyone else. On the contrary, this is another example of joint initiative. In my State of the State this year, I indicated that the joint program of the House and Senate on invasive species that the Senator just indicated, some $5 million, was something that we not only supported, but we were going to support the Invasive Species Council, which is second to none, by the way, in the nation in terms of dealing with it. We were coming out of this recession. And the legislature in this administration, starting in 2010, recognized that personnel had been devastated. Egg inspectors on this island had just been wiped out by the previous administration. Layoffs, furloughs, all of that took place, especially where invasive species was concerned. That was possibly the worst single decision that was made in the previous administration. And the legislature and this administration has been working together to counteract that, whether it's in terms of personnel, whether it's in terms of funding. It is you have to understand, when you come at something like the little fire ant, you're dealing with terrorists who are not open to group discussion. You have to put the personnel and the funding behind it, and I believe that this legislature across the state and this administration is working hand in hand to see that that's accomplished.
Governor Abercrombie, do I understand that you will treat Hawaii Island with the same energy that Oahu is getting for koki frogs, fire ants, etc.?
I've been doing it for 40 years. I'll do it for the next 40 months if I get the chance.
Senator Ige, yes to this island? Because that's really what the question is. It's sort of amusing when you read in the advertisement, oh my God, we have koki frogs.
Well, you're talking about the advertiser now. You know,
that's the only way we know that you have koki frogs.
I'm somewhat,
I do believe that we need to be committed to Hawaii Island and ensure that we can identify and stop invasive species as soon as we we can.
Can we shake on that, too?
Okay.